Nearly 200 countries agreeing to a deal to combat climate change on the last day of the UN talks in Scotland. I'm Charles Watson. I'll have the details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Mike Mahoney. One man is dead following a crash in Newton County this morning. The accident happened on Poppy Drive, 4 miles north of Stella. The Missouri Highway Patrol says 62-year-old Joseph McClellan was riding his motorcycle when it went off the road and hit a utility pole. McClellan was pronounced dead at the scene around 11:30 a.m. The Missouri Highway Patrol says the exact time of the crash is unknown. The United Nations is hailing an agreement between nearly all of the world's countries to combat climate change. The deal sets benchmarks for the countries to reduce their emissions over the next decade, but it may have also gained a few skeptics after some last-minute changes to the fine print. Fox News' Charles Watson has the details.
Hearing no objections, it is so decided.
A landmark deal reached Saturday on the last day of the COP26 conference in Scotland. Nearly every country in the world signing a pact pledging to lower carbon emissions and reduce reliance on fossil fuels.
Historians will look back at COP26 as the moment humanity finally got real about climate change.
The deal, known as the Glasgow Climate Agreement, set a goal of capping global warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius, a threshold scientists have said would cause irreversible damage if it's surpassed. While most are calling it a win for climate advocates, it did include plenty of compromise. Much of the final language on fossil fuels was watered down, from phasing out coal to phasing down. Delegates from some smaller countries felt rich nations, who are the world's biggest emitters of greenhouse gases, did not pay their fair share. The last-minute change on coal came at the request of China and India. While it wasn't very popular at the conference, U.S. climate envoy John Kerry said it had to happen in order to get a deal done.
Did I appreciate that we had to adjust one thing tonight in a very unusual way? No, but if we hadn't done that, we wouldn't have an agreement.
While the deal did not give everyone everything they wanted, it marks the first time countries acknowledge fossil fuels as the main contributor to climate change. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
All right, let's bring things back to the 4-state area, and let's talk weather with meteorologist Nick Kelly. Nick.
We kept things pretty quiet for today, Mike, at least for much of the day. We had to start things out with some showers north and east of the region this morning, but overall, this view has been quiet throughout much of the evening, that's for sure. 37 this morning, but a good rebound, a little warmer than I was suspecting, but only a tad warmer. Highs around 56. After we had a few showers clip our northeastern counties this morning, we're just seeing cloud cover come and go once again this evening. The last of our storm system still rotating and cold enough to produce snow for parts of the Great Lakes. But around here, the big blue H is in control. High pressure is what's keeping us quiet. It's not scrubbing out quite the cloud cover per se, but it is going to keep temperatures with the returning southerly breeze only dropping back near 41 for the morning. But that southwest breeze really kicks into gear tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, and you can see, Mike, we'll respond to that very nicely with highs back in the mid-60s. We'll break down the rest of the week here in a bit.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Nick. 4-state motorcycle enthusiasts were ready to ride over at Joplin's Hideout Harley, and it was all for a good cause. They were there today for the Hope for the Holidays toy run that's being organized by the folks over at the St. Paul's United Methodist Church. Participants were encouraged to bring a toy, gift cards, and other goodies for Joplin youth.
Well, it being Christmas time, there's always that need for families to be able to get toys for their kids because sometimes some people are less fortunate, and this gives them a way to get those toys and have a great Christmas, and we get to participate in that great Christmas.
And St. Paul's also provided chili and fix-ins so riders and others who came out could stay warm and have a good time. Over at Missouri Southern, the Golden Crest Circle of Omicron Delta Kappa inducted 33 students and 5 faculty and staff members during an initiation ceremony today. They're being honored for excelling in areas like academics, athletics, service to the campus and community, and creative and performing arts. But today's ceremony was also about giving back to others, which is why it also doubled as a coat drive.
This is the One Warm Coat Drive, so it's a nationwide nonprofit, and our Circle of ODK has made that our premier service project for probably the last 15 years. So during the month of November, we put collection boxes out all over campus and also at one of the SMB branch locations and collect coats and other warm clothing, and then we donate those to places like Water Gardens or the Joplin Boys and Girls Club.
The chapter has also set up donation boxes on the main campus and at the Southwest Missouri Bank branch at 7th and Duquesne Road. They'll be accepting coats, jackets, and sweatshirts through November 29th. Bear Son, the man walking from Los Angeles to New York in a bear suit, has made it to New York City. He came through Joplin back in September. We caught up with him along 7th Street during his journey through our town. He wasn't just walking for fun, he was raising money for a number of different charities for things like mental health and autism awareness. Today, Bear Son announced that he made it to New York City. This is video from his YouTube channel as he walked with a group through New York City into Times Square. As we mentioned, he made the trek to raise money for multiple different charitable groups. The first charity is the Villa Esperanza Services, a disabled community, which he managed to pull in nearly $17,000 for. For the National Breast Cancer Foundation, Bear Son's walk brought in about $16,000. Moving on to Active Minds, a mental health organization, Bear Son raised a total just under $19,000. Charity number 4, the Autism Society of America, managed to garner just a hair over $19,000 from Bear Son's walk. And finally, his walk brought in just under $15,000 for the Environmental Defense Fund. In his long trip across America, Bear Son brought in about $85,287 for charity. Good job, Bear Son. All right, it's now time to honor one of our many four-state heroes. And tonight, we pay tribute to Rex Marshall of Joplin, Missouri. Marshall served as a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army, and he fought in World War II, earning 2 Bronze Stars and a Victory Ribbon. Thank you, sir, for your bravery and for fighting for freedom. For more information on all our four-state heroes or to nominate your own, just log on to KOAMNewsNow.com.
Even though we did have a cold front slide on through today, didn't really do much in terms of temperatures because we actually kept on a warming trend ever since we saw mid to upper 40s at the very least the other day. We kept this view from Indigo Sky Casino Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri quiet throughout the day, and it's still looking quiet as we venture deeper into our Sunday night. In fact, breaking down temperatures, we did hit the upper 40s yesterday after a cold start in the upper 20s. We only dropped back into the upper 30s to near 40 this morning. A little cooler than I expected around Joplin, but almost right on the money with the highs this afternoon, right around 56. In fact, everybody at least in the mid-50s this afternoon. And again, that's despite a cold front working on through today. And early in the morning as it passed on through, as advertised, it did bring some scattered showers, mainly in our northeastern counties. The closer you were to Stockton Lake and the Harry-Truman Reservoir, that was the only shot of rain that we had throughout the day. And even that didn't amount to much, maybe 1/10 of an inch for some at the worst. But this is how our evening has been. Just cloud cover coming and going, but trying to bounce back and forth between mostly clear and partly cloudy skies. But no matter if you're seeing clouds or not, we are dry on the radar network on this Sunday night. We're dry and mild as we go into Monday and Tuesday as the new work week and school week gets underway. But our next system still pegged rolling on Wednesday with chances for rain and even a couple of thunderstorms. But once we get behind that system, we definitely turn chilly again by Thursday and certainly into the coming weekend. From 7th and Rangeline, though, can't complain. Quiet skies up top, 42 degrees, feels like 39 with the southeast breeze at about 5 miles per hour. Most of us are sitting in the upper 30s to lower 40s now, and this is pretty much where we're going to hang throughout the course of the night because of the wind setup. We had a northeast wind make that northwest wind to start the day out, but now look at the wind coming out of the south. That's because an area high pressure is starting to slide off on top of the region. In fact, let me show you that setup as we go to a different view of the Skywatch Storm Tracker here. Again, we're just seeing cloud cover come and go, nothing threatening us to go throughout the course of the night, but you can see that almost a counterclockwise swirl, make that clockwise swirl, pardon me, sitting right on top of the region. That's because of high pressure that is sitting right on top of the region. Our next front's waiting the Pacific Northwest, but we got to wait for this upper level ridge to break down before it can head our way. In the meantime, though, it's going to send that jet stream back our way, and it's really going to help us out with temperatures. I think we'll be generally mostly clear by the time we hit Monday morning, but look at the temperatures go from the lower 40s in the morning lower 60s by noon and into the mid 60s for the afternoon. So everyone should start around 41 in the morning, 61 by noon, and highs near 65 with that southwest wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Let's keep it mostly clear to start Monday evening out. Then we're going to see some cloud cover pick back up on Tuesday, but even then, partly sunny skies. Not bad with temperatures pushing almost into the mid 70s for highs, but sticking with Doug's pattern, here comes our next storm system along with the cold front. And you can see that resulting in our best shot of rain for the week, and even a couple of thunderstorms, mainly on Wednesday. 65 before the front works in on Monday, 74 Tuesday, 65. That's the best we can do for Wednesday. Then once those rain chances clear out, we're back into the lower 50s Thursday and Friday, Mike, before we see maybe a few more showers try to come our way later this weekend.
Well, thanks so much, Nick Kelly. And when we return, we are taking a look at President Biden's big week ahead. And we are also learning about some of the president's headaches as various state and business leaders voice their opposition to his controversial vaccine mandate. All that is headed your way in just 2 short minutes. President Biden is preparing to sign his $1.2 trillion infrastructure plan into law amid a major rise in inflation. He says the legislation will help curb the price increases we have been seeing. Fox News' David Spunt takes a look.
Preparations are underway on the South Lawn for a signing ceremony to take place Monday. President Biden expected to sign the bipartisan infrastructure package into law. Despite a hyper-partisan atmosphere in Washington, this was a bipartisan effort. The signing comes as gas prices are climbing, store shelves in many cases bare, and those cargo ships continue to sit off the coast of California just waiting to pull into port. And don't forget that trucker shortage that's still going on nationwide. The president says the answer to some of these issues, namely inflation, is his Build Back Better social spending bill, which he wants to sign into law as soon as possible. But Fox News is learning there is yet another delay. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer will delay the vote on Build Back Better because it has not yet come up officially yet in the House. And more importantly, perhaps there is no score from the Congressional Budget Office to illustrate the exact cost.
And I see it as a jobs act. I don't call it a spending plan. It's a jobs act. Every single cent of it will be paid for. I think this is part of the path to a better, bringing down that inflation and a better economy.
Most Americans, hardworking Americans, are on fixed income, and this is going to hit them really hard. And this is before we get to the energy crisis that we're facing this winter.
After signing the infrastructure bill into law on Monday, the president will tout that new law in Detroit, Michigan, and Woodstock, New Hampshire. At the White House, David Spunt, Fox News.
President Biden looks to heal relations with China in a virtual summit on Monday. Both President Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping will speak amidst growing tensions internationally. The two sides haven't met in person since Biden took office, as Xi has remained in his country during the global pandemic. President Xi has been criticized by the U.S. for his government's treatment of Muslims in northwest China, as well as for squashing protests in Hong Kong and failing to cooperate with coronavirus investigations. White House officials say they have low expectations for any outcomes from the meeting. Some lawmakers and business leaders are doubling down on their opposition to the recent vaccine mandates coming from the Biden administration. Fox News' Alexandria Hoff takes a closer look.
The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals called the president's mandate staggeringly overboard. Late Friday, the court upheld its prior decision to halt the Biden administration's COVID-19 vaccine mandate for companies that employ over 100 workers. The sweeping mandates announced in September were met with immediate pushback. More than half of U.S. states are now suing to block the requirement. Here's Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton speaking with Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday.
The federal government has no authority to do this. Right now, we have OSHA guidelines that have not been authorized by Congress. They absolutely have no authority to do this.
The 3-judge panel based in New Orleans sided with opponents of the requirement on the basis of upholding constitutional civil liberties. They also noted the economic impacts and the one-size-fits-all nature of the mandate. The Biden administration warned that the court's decision could lead to hundreds of unnecessary deaths.
It would be a setback for public health. What we know very clearly is that when people get vaccinated, and the more people who get vaccinated, the quicker we're able to bring this pandemic to an end, the more lives we can ultimately save.
The Justice Department says they are willing to fight this case all the way up to the Supreme Court. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
Several western states are now expanding coronavirus vaccine booster access as the Delta variant hits their areas. California, Colorado, and New Mexico are making coronavirus booster shots available for all adults, even though federal officials advise limiting doses to those most at risk. The states are trying to counter anticipated surges of the coronavirus as the holidays near and people gather more for indoor activities. California is now considered a high-tier state for transmission, and Colorado and New Mexico have among the highest rates of new infections. When we return, we are learning more about an explosion in the United Kingdom. A terrorism investigation is underway after a blast at a British hospital. That story and more are next. Authorities in the UK are investigating an explosion at a women's hospital in Liverpool. Fox News' Trey Yingst has the latest.
This is a developing story. We do know 3 people have been arrested in the United Kingdom on suspicion of terrorism. Police say a taxi exploded outside of a women's hospital in Liverpool, England earlier today, killing 1 person and injuring 1 other. There is an investigation ongoing led by a counter-terrorism unit that authorities say will take some time to complete. Roads around the area were blocked off following the explosion that occurred around 11 a.m. local time. The mayor of Liverpool tweeted out calling the incident unsettling and upsetting. But again, what we know at this hour, 1 person is dead following an explosion in Liverpool, England, outside of a women's hospital, and 3 people are currently in custody. Trey Yingst, Fox News.
More news out of the UK. Buckingham Palace says Queen Elizabeth II missed out on the Remembrance Sunday service in London, which pays tribute to Britain's war dead, because she sprained her back. The service is one of the most important things on the 95-year-old monarch's calendar and was widely expected to be her first public appearance after canceling events in recent weeks following doctors' advice. Other royals and politicians led today's ceremony in London's Whitehall, with hundreds of military personnel and veterans lined up around the Cenotaph Memorial. This was the first time the event had returned to normal since the pandemic began. Thousands of migrants have been traveling to Belarus in hopes of being able to cross over into the European Union. But they're finding themselves stuck near the Belarusian-Polish border and unable to cross. Fox News' Trey Yingst is back with that story.
Today, thousands of refugees remain on the border between Belarus and Poland. The situation continues to deteriorate as people attempt to cross. One group of 50 was successful, but they were quickly apprehended by Polish forces. Clashes have broken out, and whenever a small amount of aid is delivered, the workers are stormed by masses of people. EU foreign ministers are looking to increase sanctions on Belarus and officials in Minsk that are suspected of organizing the flights and transportation to get the migrants to Poland's border. This is seen by European officials in neighboring Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia as a direct response from Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko for sanctions imposed on his country after a disputed election last year. The Russians are key allies of Belarus, but President Vladimir Putin says his country has nothing to do with the developing migrant crisis.
I believe a solution needs to be found to the benefit of Belarus and European countries, including Poland and the Federal Republic of Germany, and the other countries, because their systems of social security are overloaded.
This comes as the Prime Minister of Poland is calling for emergency talks that will allow his country to remove 15,000 troops that are currently stationed along the border. In Jerusalem, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
We'll be right back with more news. Welcome back to your News at 9. American Airlines says it has trimmed flights to Haiti amid increasing violence over the last several months. The airline will now only operate 1 daily flight between Miami and Port-au-Prince starting November 15th. American Airlines says there's reduced demand to go to Haiti because of recent events there, including the assassination of Haiti's president and the abduction of 17 American missionaries back in October. Southwest Airlines will be offering incentives to staff in hopes of avoiding further travel disruptions during the upcoming holiday season. According to a note sent to Southwest employees, flight attendants, pilots, and other operations staff could get up to 120,000 Rapid Rewards points, which has a price value of more than $1,400. Around the Columbus Day holiday weekend, Southwest canceled more than 2,000 flights, costing them $75 million. Well, stay right there. We have got a lot more news headed your way, as well as another look at your weather with meteorologist Nick Kelly and your KOAM Sports Report with Danny Terzer. That's all coming up right here in your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And still to come, some parents in Hawaii are accused of murdering their 6-year-old daughter, but that's not all they're accused of doing to the young girl. Details are next. Rocker Chris Daughtry is postponing his upcoming shows after the unexpected death of his stepdaughter. Investigators are treating her death as a possible homicide case. Fox News' Christina Coleman has an update.
Rock musician Chris Daughtry says he's heartbroken and devastated by the loss of his stepdaughter. On Instagram Saturday, he shared this photo of Hannah Price with his nearly 350,000 followers. In an emotional statement, he wrote, "I just recently lost my mother to cancer, but I was blessed with the chance to say goodbye, and I was processing it quietly. We never got to say goodbye to our precious Hannah, and it's another huge hit to our family." Daughtry said that he's taking time to be with his family as they attempt to heal from this devastating loss. Daughtry's band also announcing that this weekend's shows on their Dearly Beloved tour would be rescheduled following Hannah's unexpected death. According to TMZ, the 25-year-old's death is being treated as a homicide, and her boyfriend, Bobby Jolly, was arrested on Friday, the same day her body was found. However, authorities have not said if he is a suspect or person of interest in this case. In April, Jolly and Price were both arrested in Tennessee in connection to an apparent road rage incident. Tennessee Highway Patrol said it was reported that Jolly shot at another vehicle. The couple denied firing the weapon. Again, no word on exactly why Jolly was arrested on Friday, and no further details have been released on Hannah Price's sudden death. Reporting in Los Angeles, Christina Coleman, Fox News.
A mother and father in Hawaii are accused of keeping their adopted 6-year-old daughter in a cage and not feeding her. Isaac and Leua Kalua are also charged with their daughter Isabella's murder, even though police have not yet found a body. According to court documents, the couple asked an older sibling of Isabella's to keep a secret, allegedly saying that they put duct tape over Isabella's mouth and that she did not wake up. The couple is being held in jail until at least their next court appearance on November 26th. We'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather.
Even though we did have a cold front slide on through today, didn't really do much in terms of temperatures because we actually kept on a warming trend ever since we saw, mid to upper 40s at the very least the other day. We've kept this view from Indigo Sky Casino Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri quiet throughout the day, and it's still looking quiet as we venture deeper into our Sunday night. In fact, breaking down temperatures, we did hit the upper 40s yesterday after a cold start in the upper 20s. We only dropped back into the upper 30s to near 40 this morning. A little cooler than I expected around Joplin, but almost right on the money with the highs this afternoon, right around 56. In fact, everybody at least in the mid-50s this afternoon. And again, that's despite a cold front working on through today. And early in the morning as it passed on through, as advertised, it did bring some scattered showers, mainly in our northeastern counties. The closer you were to Stockton Lake and the Harry Truman Reservoir, that was the only shot of rain that we had throughout the day. And even that didn't amount to much, maybe a tenth of an inch for some at the worst. But this is how our evening has been. Just cloud cover coming and going, but trying to bounce back and forth between mostly clear and partly cloudy skies. But no matter if you're seeing clouds or not, we are dry on the radar network on this Sunday night. We're dry and mild as we go into Monday and Tuesday as new work week and school week gets underway. But our next system still pegged rolling on Wednesday with chances for rain and even a couple of thunderstorms. But once we get behind that system, we definitely turn chilly again by Thursday and certainly into the coming weekend. From 7th and Rangeline, though, can't complain. Quiet skies up top, 42 degrees, feels like 39 with the southeast breeze at about 5 miles per hour. Most of us are sitting in the upper 30s to lower 40s now, and this is pretty much where we're going to hang throughout the course of the night because of the wind setup. We had a northeast wind make that northwest wind to start the day out, but now look at the wind coming out of the south. That's because an area of high pressure is starting to slide off on top of the region. In fact, let me show you that setup as we go to a different view of the Skywatch Storm Tracker here. Again, we're just seeing cloud cover come and go, nothing threatening as we go throughout the course of the night, but you can see that almost a counterclockwise swirl, make that clockwise swirl, pardon me, sitting right on top of the region. That's because of high pressure that is sitting right on top of the region. Our next front's waiting the Pacific Northwest, west, but we got to wait for this upper level ridge to break down before it can head our way. In the meantime, though, it's going to send that jet stream back our way, and it's really going to help us out with temperatures. I think we'll be generally mostly clear by the time we hit Monday morning, but look at the temperatures go from the lower 40s in the morning, lower 60s by noon, and into the mid 60s for the afternoon. So everyone should start around 41 in the morning, 61 by noon, and highs near 65 with that southwest wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Let's keep it mostly clear to start Monday evening out. Then we're going to see some cloud cover pick back up on Tuesday, but even then, partly sunny skies. Not bad with temperatures pushing almost into the mid 70s for highs, but sticking with Doug's pattern, here comes our next storm system along with the cold front. And you can see that resulting in our best shot of rain for the week, and even a couple of thunderstorms, mainly on Wednesday. 65 before the front works in on Monday, 74 Tuesday, 65, that's the best we can do for Wednesday. Then once those rain chances clear out, we're back into the lower 50s Thursday and Friday, Mike, before we see maybe a few more showers try to come our way later this weekend.
Well, thanks again, Nick, and stay right there, sports fans. We'll be right back with Danny Terzer and your KOAM News at 9 Sports Report. That's coming up in just 2 quick minutes.
This is the Toyota Sunday Night Sports Feed. The Independence Pirates had the chance to punch their ticket to the Jayhawk Conference Championship today. But first, Indy has to get through the reigning national champs, the Hutchinson Blue Dragons. The Pirates won the regular season matchup back in October. Now they meet in the conference semifinals. Second Blue Dragon possession, Dylan Label airs it out to Malik Benson. He's all alone, 76-yard touchdown connection. Hutchinson up 14-0 in the opening minutes of the game. Later with the ball back here, Malachi Bailey flies in for the sack. Loss of 4 and Indy forces the punt. Blue Dragons keep pouring it on though. Third quarter, Label from 12 yards out goes back to Benson. Hutchinson blanks Independence 42-0. The Missouri Southern Lions closed out their season on the road against Washburn on Saturday. Despite a second half surge, 24-ranked Washburn held on to win 38-28. Dawson Hurl ended his freshman season on a high note. He threw for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jaden Stoshak was a popular target in the game, catching 6 passes for 71 yards and a score. On defense, Richard Jordan Jr. led the group with 8 tackles, including 2 for a loss and a forced fumble. Pittsburgh State ended their season with a 34-24 win against Fort Hays State. Dallas Flowers opened the game with a kickoff return. He took 95 yards to the house. He also had an interception. Chad Dodson Jr. threw for 294 yards with 3 touchdowns in his first career start. Elijah Harris tallied 102 yards from 3 catches plus a touchdown. At the Division I level, huge Big 12 matchup in Waco, Texas on Saturday. Undefeated Oklahoma travels to Baylor. Both teams ranked in the top 15. Second quarter, Caleb Williams keeps it. He gets in from 2 yards out, 7-0. Later, Baylor ties it up. Gary Bohannon finds Tyquan Thornton for the score. In the third, Williams' throw here is picked off, his second interception of the game. And that will call for a change. So the next Sooners possession, Spencer Rattler, there he is in the game for Oklahoma. Scrambling here, he'll get sacked. They go 3 and out. Baylor leading by 3 here. Abram Smith rips off a big run, 75 yards. He's inside the 10 before he gets taken down. And then Bohannon carries it in for the score. The Sooners' 17-game win streak comes to an end. Baylor takes down Oklahoma 27-14.
Still a whole lot left for this football team. That's the advantage of winning your first 9 games is you do set yourself up to be able to overcome something like this. So disappointed, obviously, that we have to overcome it, but it is what it is, and so we'll bounce back like we always do and like we fully expect to.
Mizzou hosting South Carolina on Saturday. Second quarter score is even. Connor Bazelak goes deep, finds Mookie Cooper wide open for the 60-yard touchdown. Tigers take the lead. Later, Jason Brown on the run hits Josh Van in the end zone. So we're back to a tie. Third quarter, 3-point game here. Martez Manuel causes a fumble. Mizzou jumps on it for the score. This one stays tight down the stretch, but Missouri pulls off the win 31-28. The Kansas City Chiefs travel to Las Vegas for an AFC West showdown on Sunday Night Football. At the time of the taping, the Chiefs have a 17-14 lead in the third quarter. Patrick Mahomes connects with Tyreek Hill for both of Kansas City's touchdowns. And moving on to basketball now, Pittsburgh State closes out the Central Region Tip-Off Challenge with a game against Upper Iowa this afternoon. Pitt State led by 5 at half, but were outscored in the second, falling 69-66. 3 Gorillas finish in double digits, led by Isaiah James with 18 points. They moved to 0-2 on the early season. Number 16 ranked Arkansas was back at home on Saturday, hosting Gardner-Webb. Arkansas aiming for a 2-0 start to the season, trailing here in the first half. Connor Vanover hits the bank shot. He goes on to have a 19-point day. Later, 1-point game, Devontae Davis sinks the triple. Razorbacks go on a 12-0 run and lead 42-26 at half. Then here's Lance Terry, one-handed slam. Arkansas still dominating though. J.D. Notae knocks down the 3. And then Trey Wade takes the pass for the slam. Arkansas wins 86-69. After a slow start to the season, the Oklahoma City Thunder are riding a 4-game win streak into tonight's matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. The Thunder cool off. They trail nearly the entire game, ultimately falling 120-96. We'll be right back with more news.
Welcome back to your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. A Northern California woman from the town of Orinda had been trying to focus on her battle with cancer, but she ended up having to fend off an animal intruder during a trip to Lake Tahoe. Fox News' Amber Lee spoke with the woman about her terrifying bear encounter.
I was bleeding and scared and screaming. And
Laurel Rose von Hoffman-Kersey of Orinda describes being mauled by a bear early Saturday morning at the family's vacation home in Tahoe Vista in North Lake Tahoe.
I should be dead, the way that the bear swiped at my face. And right here.
Her injuries include a deep laceration to the cheek that required stitches, puncture wounds, cuts and bruises all over her body. She says she was treated at a hospital. The 66-year-old tells me she is fighting stage 4 lymphoma and was isolating in her Tahoe home when loud noises from the kitchen woke her up around 6 a.m. She says she found a large bear by the refrigerator.
Must have come straight at me. I have only a vision of the paw. It was dark. And then I'm getting torn up.
Von Hoffman-Kersey says these are photos of a bear on her property just in June, and that the animals often break into cars, but none has ever gone inside her home until now. She says she fought back by throwing a quilt at the bear, and it eventually left through the front door the same way it had gotten in.
Anything that has a strong odor to it is really the number one thing that attracts a bear onto people's properties.
The California Department of Fish and Wildlife says so far this year, there have been 3 bear attacks in the Lake Tahoe area. State officials say people leaving out food unintentionally is a large part of the problem.
That comes in the form of garbage, comes in the form of food that's fallen off the tree, that are rotten, like rotten fruit and that type of thing, or cat food that's left outside.
State officials say DNA samples have been collected from the victim's injuries and clothing to create a profile of the attacking bear, and that a trap has been set on the property.
If we can identify the profile of the attacking animal that we might have trapped, we can remove it and it could be euthanized.
This bear's been in the neighborhood. He's not afraid of people. My screaming didn't frighten him. Bear behaviors.
Well, speedy recovery to her. And we are not done yet here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And when we return, we are taking a trip to the sunny city of Santa Barbara and meeting a very rare leopard cub over at the zoo. That story and more right around the corner. Two more celebrities have been unmasked on the most recent episode of the Fox hit The Masked Singer. Fox News' Ashley Dvorkin has a Masked Singer recap as well as a look ahead.
Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Natasha Bedingfield lost her head as Pepper during a double unmasking on Fox's The Masked Singer.
Just stop your crying, it's a sign of the time.
I felt I killed it. I felt like it was good. It's about really like making people feel something, and I felt something, and so at the end of the day, it's okay. But it was definitely a surprise.
She says there is only one reason why she chose to be the red hot vegetable.
It was the only outfit at that time it was the only costume they had. But I was like, can my Pepper at least wear a dress? Like, can I be like a sexy Pepper? So I got to kind of help with that part, and we put eyelashes on her. I'm jealous of the rain.
Introduced to viewers last month as another wildcard singer during Group A's second round of performances, the singer knew her voice would make it easy for many to identify her.
I think that I'm more known for my voice than my face, because my songs are such big radio hits. Songs like Unwritten and Pocket Full of Sunshine.
Bedingfield says performing other people's songs allowed her to explore her voice in a different way.
What I found through stepping into someone else's song was I could see the genius in each song. I could feel it. I could let the song carry me somewhere, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed that, and it encouraged me to write more songs that are ballads. We gotta get away.
Next week, the singers from Group B will take the stage for their own semifinal round, with Cheryl Hines joining the judges' table as a guest panelist. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
All right, my friends, you know me. I like to end my shows with some cute baby animals, so let's do that. A rare leopard cub has made its debut at the Santa Barbara Zoo in California earlier this month. The Amur leopard cub is named Marta, and she was spotted spending some time in her outdoor habitat. Marta was born in August and has been away from the exhibit since that time so she can bond with her mama. Amur leopards are native to Northeast Asia and are critically endangered. So welcome, Marta. Good for her. Hey, thanks so much for joining us tonight, and thank you for joining me this weekend for the last 4.5 years. This is my last show here at KOAM as I am moving on to anchor at a station on the East Coast. Doing this show in the four-state area for the last half-decade has been an honor and an awesome experience. The people around here have been really cool and down-to-earth folks, and I especially want to thank the co-workers who have helped make this show something you tune into. And that includes my excellent assignment editor, Stephanie Marsh, my fellow reporter and weekend anchor, Chris Warner, and the meteorologist who has been here since my very first show back in 2017, that would be Nick Kelly. And of course, there have been a ton of people in the production and control room and the master control employees, and they've all helped make the show what it is, so thank you, all you guys. And thank you for tuning in over the last 4.5 years. And have a great night, four-state area, and I bet I'll see you soon someday. Take care.